Hello, hello, gorgeous human beings. Oh my God, it's so good to see you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. My name is Nash, and I am the founder of the Unapologetic Women Global Rempowerment Human Dynasty. If you are new to my world, say hi. Let me know in the comments who you are and where you are reaching me from today. And if we are friends, then say hi in the comments as well. It's always so good to have further enriching conversations in things that just are coming up in my day-to-day life and that I get to explore a little bit more and then share my explorations with you guys to invite awareness and to invite compassion for ourselves and to invite love back into the conversation. So I've just had breakfast and I'm still drinking my final cup of coffee for the day. So if you have a drink, then, bring it along for the conversation. And as always, I'm not here to provide information. I'm here to create space for sacred conversation. And I do feel strongly about the topic that I am sharing about today, especially since my personal journey has evolved through all of the stages. And I'm so grateful for everything that I've learned along the way about myself, first and foremost, and then understanding how my relationship to myself affects, defines, creates my relationship with other people. So I want to keep this really transparent in the conversation and to invite you to just listen with your heart and not with your mind, because your mind is going to screw this up royally for you if that is where you get caught up in, because the conversation is very ego triggering at its core. When I studied to become an inner life skills coach, gosh, like 20 years ago, it was quite an intense process that I had to go through in order for me to be certified as a coach. And I remember one of the most beautiful theories that the facilitator shared with us was the wholes to wholeness theory. And now I understand even more how it's playing out in our relationships at this time, specifically with regards to the various stages or evolutions of dependence. Now, again, please don't make where you're finding yourself wrong, because whatever you make wrong, you are self-abandoning in the process. So this is not about fixing you or about making you take the right course of action or anything. It's just compassionate awareness and meeting ourselves where we're at. But how this theory goes is that when we are born, we are whole. We know this. We know that we are source energy coming forth as a human experience to evolve source energy. There's this inner knowing within a baby, and we are complete. We are completely whole. There's nothing wrong with us. We're not broken. We don't have to fix anything. We are perfection in this human body. And then we get socialized, baby. And nobody escapes this. Nobody escapes this. It's part of the evolution process. But as we get socialized, as we get taught by well-meaning people, we are taught to find fault in ourselves. And more importantly, we start abandoning little pieces of ourselves, the real things that make us who we truly are, authentically and beautifully and perfectly. And we create these holes within our psyche. We create these holes. When we've created these holes, we go out seeking other people who are holy to complete us. This is called codependence. It is the idea that we, in and of ourselves, need somebody else, or that they need us. And it becomes this interesting experience of where we are reliant on each other to give ourselves meaning and fullness and a sense of completion. Except it never lasts very long, because as we start wedging more and more people in, the wholes actually becomes greater because we need to create space for those people. Now, historically, we have been looking in the space of psychology of codependence, especially in people who are alcoholic or dependent on substances or anything else that then become in partnership with other people. And so in my marriage, I had a very codependent relationship with my then husband, who struggles with socially approved addictions in one form or another. And so I needed him to need me, and I almost needed him in my life to feel like I have purpose. Now, this is an extreme form when we start looking at relationships in addiction. And I almost feel like that's where a lot of people are missing the essence of what codependence is. And what I'm going to say next is going to trigger a lot of you. And so I invite you to either receive it or move on. But I'm seeing this happening a lot in the personal development space at the moment, in that people need more and more therapists, coaches, consultants, mentors, teachers to tell them who to be and what to do and how to solve and how to think and how to show up. That is all codependency. And the other side is that lovingly saying, oh, my purpose is to help these people. That's why I'm here in this space. That's why I was born at this time. So you need people to need you in order for you to fulfill your life purpose. Bit of a fanny wax on that one. And I had to come to that realization for myself and to start really thinking about what I'm saying when I say my life purpose is to help other people. No. My life purpose is to have a fantastic human experience, which is evolving consciousness in the most audacious way. And then that is enough. So that is codependence, guys, is we need other people to need us on whatever level. And we're seeing this especially in business right now. And we need to be needed. So codependence is needing to be needed and to need. And it is that idea that we in and of ourselves are not enough. Our worth is not absolute. So there has to be this thing that's happening. So when we start understanding that we are whole and complete, we don't need other people anymore to come in and complete our experience. We're not externally looking for that which is on the inside. But before that can happen, what I'm seeing is we move from codependence to independence. And you and I both know, and again, not making anybody's experience wrong or the global experience wrong, but there is a strong call, and has been for a couple of generations, for us to be strong, independent women, to stand on our own 2 feet, to create our own financial wealth, to do all the things. Not making that wrong. And I was that woman for a really, really long time. Here's what I have come to understand, that independence is coming from a space of fear. When you have especially been codependent and you have experiences in your life where your dependence on another person has created shame in you, has created uncomfortable circumstances in you. I remember one day, I was an extraordinarily independent woman as a young woman because of how I grew up. And then when I got married and fell pregnant, we moved and I couldn't find work whilst being pregnant. I had to wait until after the baby's birth for me to go back into the workforce. So I was financially dependent on my then husband. And I will never forget standing in the grocery store, 7 months pregnant. It was hellish hot, and doing the groceries for the month and having the cart declined. having the car declined. I've never had that experience in my life because I didn't grow up rich. And so for me, financial security was really important. And to then entrust my financial security in a partnership with a person who wasn't in the position, quite frankly, to create that for me, to then have that shame in sorry, madam, your card has been declined moment was horrific. And so I made a promise to myself that I would never again find myself in this position, that I would become financially independent as a woman, and that I would always be able to stand on my own 2 feet. However, here's the crux of the matter in this. That is still coming from a space of fear. That is coming from a space of, I need to take care of myself because nobody else is going to take care of me. And we think that makes us strong, and it does make us strong. However, there is still a wall between us and other people, and it plays a little bit in the realm of the competitive mindset, competitive scarcity mindset, especially in business. We see this all the time, of women needing to prove themselves in business and wanting to be independent. And in that, there is this wall around them because they need to be perceived in a certain way in order for them to get the majority of business. Again, not making any of this wrong. This is needed in order for consciousness to evolve. And it has started evolving already. And this is the next phase. So when we start realizing that this independence really comes from a space of fear, and we can release that because we choose to reclaim ourselves, which is to remember who and what we are. And we choose to bring all of this together. So all of those pieces that we have self-abandoned, all the things that we have made wrong in ourselves, all the things that we need to work on and correct and fix, like all of that disappears because we reclaim and we know our wholeness. We know ourselves as source energy in this human experience. So we are safe because the universe has our back. We've cracked the code, shall we say it that way, on how to create, and we are no longer attached on the exact form in which it has to take. So we are not attached anymore that our wealth has to come specifically from us in order for us to feel safe. And now we can start upgrading into interdependence. So interdependence is the situation that comes from people really being in their fullness, really being whole, knowing their worth, knowing what their true desires are, instead of chasing everybody else's template desires, which, if you have to get real with yourself, always comes a little bit from the ego space. If we are chasing somebody else's desires and what society is telling us we should desire at this time in order for us to be successful. But when you come from a space of true wholeness and completion and worth, then you recognize the genius that is so unique to you, your authentic genius that is inside of you, the talent that is unique to you. And you start attracting and allowing in those individuals who have themselves reclaimed and have identified their unique gift to the world. And this is where we come together in interdependence and we start building together. We start creating that which we cannot create in and of ourselves, because that would be us dimensional instead of us dimensional, right? It's when we start bringing together our true genius in divine love, that divine love in and of itself becomes a dimension that we can't tap into or don't tap into when we are on our own. It is the group dynamic that changes the dynamic of what it is that we create. What I am seeing is a lot of women craving interdependence whilst struggling with the independence inside of them. And a lot of the time, it's because they're still finding themselves in a codependent mind cage, shall we say, mind frequency. So when you are finding yourself in a space where you feel that you are dependent on others and you don't want that, the next best thing, what feels better to you, is independence. But while you are seeking independence, you cannot allow in that which wants to be birthed through interdependence. So, my invitation to you is to start becoming aware of what is the relationship dynamics, the partnership dynamics that's playing out in your life. And how does that actually feel on the inside for you? Taking away all judgment and all criticism. This is not about you having to fix anything. This is not about having you to change anything. This is about you just becoming super curious of what is really going on inside for me, and how is that playing out? How is that being reflected for me in my ideas around dependence or codependence, independence, and then interdependence? I am going to say as well that as my journey has evolved into interdependence, that could not happen until I was ready to reclaim myself as the woman that I am and as the source energy that I am, having this womanly experience, and truly appreciate all of me and all of my life circumstances at that time, and to find the gold in all of that, to become whole, to become unafraid, to become certain in myself and certain in the fact that I am creating a life in which I live happily ever after. It was only then that I could start allowing others into my space who were coming from the same frequency. And so there's no need, there's no neediness, there's no, this is my life purpose. Everybody that I'm surrounding myself with at this time are people who understand their worth, and people who understand that their greatest purpose in life is to live life. And in that, they are living their legacies. And from this space, we get to start playing in a new way. It is an equal playing ground. It is a pedestal-less playing ground, because we connect to who we truly are instead of the personality of who we are being in the lifetime at this time. So I really hope that this has been of value to you, and that you will just be compassionate with yourself and be curious, and have a good sense of humor about this. I will say that my sense of humor has been my greatest asset in this life, because I started not taking myself so serious, and to just be, oh my gosh, Al, really? We're doing this again? That's really funny. Cool. What do we want to do instead? Yes, I do speak to myself. Bite me. But seriously, girlfriend, this is about you just becoming a little bit more curious and a little bit more observant and a little bit more present, and then very gently massaging yourself into better feeling thoughts of what do you desire instead. But if you're finding yourself in a space where you are dependent on others at the moment, and you know that it's a codependence and it doesn't feel good, if you're going to judge that, all you are doing is further and further self-abandoning, and it will make you more and more dependent on other people. If you are striving for independence, and you can feel that it's coming from a space of fear, then I invite you in to just kind of go inwards and go, well, what is this fear really about? Like, what is it that I'm feeling unsafe about? And listen to yourself. When you start using words like, I have to prove myself, that is fear-based. that is still coming from a frequency of conditioning in which we are told that we are born in sin, that we are screwed up, that we are broken, that we have to be fixed, that we have to fix ourselves, that we have to prove ourselves, that we have to outwork everybody. Language is a really, really powerful thing when we start listening to it. And then when you are that woman who have reclaimed yourself and you're an entrepreneur and you want to come and play with other women who are playing on that same field as you, then I invite you to check out the soiree. I'll put the details down below for you, or the link to the details. This is really an incredible space. I just got off a call an hour ago with the ladies of women who are willing and able and loving to be themselves without any masks, without any pretension. And from that, we are co-creating the most beautiful collaborations, supporting each other, seeing what else is available to us, asking for honest feedback from those women that we trust with everything. I had the ladies doing naked photos for the next issue of the magazine, and to a woman, their beauty in their essence, in their presence of nakedness, literally moved me to tears this morning, because that is how they are choosing to now show up. When we want to talk about authentic, this is that space where we've understood that in order for us to really evolve as women, as business women, we had to let go of the armor of the strong, independent women in order for us to come together as equals in an interdependent space. So if that's something that you've been seeking, then I invite you to go and have a look at the details down below and book in as my guest and come and meet the ladies and see if this is a space that really fits you. I am going to end with this today. Everything is perfect. Whatever life is showing you at the moment has gold. Gold. And when you just stop judging it and allow yourself to see the gold, your life will transform way faster than you might believe is possible for you today. This conversation happened after a request. And so I want to invite you today that if there is anything that you would like me to have a conversation around on this platform, then pop that into the comments for me, and I will create space for that. At the end of the day, information is overrated so much when the richness is found in the conversation and the exploration that just opens up spaces that is free of judgment and free of the ceilings in which we allow ourselves to live. And that's the space I choose to create for myself, for those that I love, for my clients, for my soiree ladies, and for you. So until next time, always remember, darling, we get to live our legacies unleashed, unlimited, and unapologetic. If this has been of value, please do share, comment, and subscribe so that you can be notified of next videos. Have an amazing day further. Cheers.